Hello, my name is Katie Porras. Welcome to my presentation about emotional development in early childhood. We'll be covering the experience of emotion in young children, how they express, understand, and eventually regulate their emotions, and how we can help them positively and constructively acknowledge their emotions. So let's begin. Young children are in the path of emotional development that begins during infancy and continues as we reach adulthood. The emotion experience involves many changes and occurrences, from being aware of our own emotions to dealing with them effectively. So knowing, recognizing, understanding, and managing our emotions is all part of emotional development. Even though primary emotions such as joy, fear, and sadness appear during infancy, young children have a lot to learn on how to identify, understand, and regulate their emotions because they will experience what are called self-conscious emotions. Self-conscious emotions include guilt, shame, embarrassment, envy, and pride. In order to experience self-conscious emotions, the child must have developed a sense of being separate from the world, realizing that they can feel their own emotions. And this is called self-awareness. Self-conscious emotions develop until a child has developed self-awareness. And this happens around the age of 18 months. Since children are starting to develop the tools and skills to identify what they're feeling and also refer to their emotions verbally, they may express their feelings by being physically explosive or even confused and inhibited. Sometimes children just don't possess the vocabulary or the connection between the emotion and the right word for that specific emotion. Example of explosive behavior is temper tantrums. As parents and educators, we ask ourselves why children have tantrums. If they're able to talk, they shouldn't be having tantrums in the first place. Well, that right there is our main clue to understanding what is going on in their little minds. They are progressing to talk more, to expand their vocabulary and sentence length, but most importantly, learning to use their words instead of physically expressing what they're feeling. Children may be having tantrums for the following reasons. They feel tired or sleepy after a very busy day in school, or maybe they were unable to get some sleep the night before. They're not prepared to and don't have the energy sometimes. They may be hungry, angry, or frustrated. In preschool, children are developing their social skills and they're just getting on the path to sharing with others. They may be irritated from over classroom stimulation or noise, or just frustrated because they cannot accomplish something. Or they could also be wanting attention or being unable to have and do what they want at the moment. These experiences can not only be frustrating for the child, but also for the parents and the educators. So how can we deal with these tantrums? First of all, remaining calm and not raising our voice. We need to let the child know We understand the way they're feeling, and at the same time, invite them to find a solution to the problem together. We might have to remove the child in some situations from the location. In preschool, for example, during reading time, children might not be ready to get on with the reading just as their classmates. So it's advisable to choose an area, such as the library, for them to go and take a break. Tagging this area as a safe place for them to take a break from the other children is very helpful. We let them know that once they calm down, they can join the rest of the group. Parents play an important role in how their children express what they're feeling. Research tells us that the way young children express their emotions is linked to their parents' expressive behavior. In other words, parents who adopt more positive emotions towards their children and less negative ones in their home have children who use more positive words during interactions. In addition, pride and guilt is heavily influenced by how the parents respond to their children's behavior in a bad situation. For instance, if the child hit another child and the parent says, "You should feel bad about hitting that child," they are cultivating a guilt feeling more than connecting and to correct and help the child embrace the emotion and deal with it in a positive way. That being aware and recognizing an emotion are two different things when considering young children. Being aware of the emotion means knowing that it is there and expressing it in some way more physically than verbally. Recognizing an emotion is identifying how we feel and being able to name or react verbally to it, as well as defining what is causing the emotion. Once children begin to understand the role of emotions, why emotions occur, which facial expressions result from specific emotions, how specific emotions affect behavior, and how they can influence other people's emotions, they can identify emotions on other individuals and themselves using physical cues that may indicate some behaviors, such as tears, may indicate sadness. Prosocial behavior, such as sharing and helping, is correlated to the extent to which young children understand emotions. This tells us that as children are experiencing different situations that elicit a wide range of emotions, they are acquiring the language to describe emotions and learn not only the cause and effect of their behavior, but also the cause and effect emotions have. They link the emotion to one or more words that describe what they're feeling. As professionals working with young children, it is our job to prepare the children with the vocabulary they'll need to express themselves. We can help children recognize their emotions in many, many ways. Help them process their emotion is essential, and we can do this by selecting a different activity, such as drawing or exercising, to go through the emotion without having to act out. Also, choosing a calm place to remain for the time of the emotion is very helpful as well, and it gives the child the time to process what they're feeling, but at the same time, think about what is happening and reflect in their behavior and their emotion. Role-playing emotions in the classroom or at home with our children can help too. They can guess what emotion is being expressed or choose themselves an emotion. Same with puppet shows. And also breathing exercises can help the child to calm down. It is good to practice these breathing exercises when everyone is tranquil. That way, when a situation occurs, they are prepared to engage in the breathing exercises more easily. So instead of having to show them how to do the breathing exercises, they already know how to do them and just concentrate on trying to calm the child. Emotions is how we help children acquire the vocabulary to express themselves. We often tell children, use your words, without giving them a clear and easy example of what they can say. How do we expect them to use words if the reason they are acting this way is because they don't know how to say it in the first place? Accompany each use your words with an example of the situation. For instance, if one child out of frustration hits another child over a toy, approach the kid and ask what happened, then tell the child who hit to say, "Can I play with that toy, please?" Tell them use your words and then give them the example. Sometimes to be able to accomplish what they want, they might need to engage in a conversation, which they might not be ready for yet. So start giving them examples about what they can say, and eventually they'll adopt the words too. It is a process, and we can facilitate this process by giving them the accurate vocabulary for them to use. Also, identify what they're feeling and let them know. If the child seems angry, tell him that he or she looks very angry. But remember to only say what you observe instead of judging from your own perspective. We don't want to create a big sense of guilt in the child. What we want is to give them the proper vocabulary in connection to the emotions they are experiencing. Also say it is okay to be feeling that way and then move on to process the emotion. I'm going to give you an example. The other day in preschool, one of my students hit another student. He seemed very frustrated and angry. So I separated him from the group and asked him what was going on. He told me he wanted to play with the other child. So I tried to give him the words to use next time he wants to play with the child. I told him, well, how about instead of hitting the child, you tell him, "Can I play with you, please?" He repeated with me the words, and then he calmed down. So sometimes they need to hear from us the correct vocabulary, and they'll adopt it eventually. Play a very important role in children's development of emotion regulation and control. Children are like sponges. They absorb even their teachers' approaches to regulating their own emotions and also dealing with them, especially when the situation involves the children. Children may watch and imitate, so we need to be careful about how we respond to certain situations. If we feel frustrated, we should take a break too. if we cannot handle the situation with the child. So what is emotion regulation? Emotion regulation refers to the ability to manage and express our emotions constructively while choosing effective strategies to deal with them. Feeling angry, sad, happy, guilty, proud, it's not wrong. And we must be able to live our own emotions and look for ways to deal and also cope with them. That's what emotion regulation is all about. Thinking it is okay to feel how we feel, but being able to react positively instead of impulsively. Now, based on this information, how can we foster emotion regulation in young children? First of all, as teachers or parents, we can use positive guidance, which is showing support in a situation and be open to listen to their needs. Understanding and valuing their emotions is very important, which encourages them to look for positive ways to deal with the situation because they feel they are heard, especially by their parents and their teachers. Modeling is a good way too. We can model behavior through role plays or just the way we react to situations or certain emotions. They'll pick up on this. Also, being consistent to the way we deal with emotions is important. Books are helpful too. They have a variety of stories and they show the children how to deal with different emotions and how to also identify them. Sometimes they have pictures of a sad person and it says sad at the bottom. So that's a way of labeling emotions too. Interactions with their peers will also foster emotion regulation. So it's very important that from a very young age they are exposed to engaging in activities with other children, especially in preschool or other early childhood programs. Teachers are constant role models to children in how they manage and regulate their emotions. Parents play an important role as well. The way parents talk to their children really matters. Parents are said to be in one of the next two categories, depending on how they talk with their children. So first of all, we have emotion coaching parents who value both positive and negative emotions. They take advantage of the presence of negative emotions to teach their children how to positively deal with them and constantly are labeling their child's emotions. On the contrary, we have emotion dismissing parents. These parents view negative emotions as bad and punishable, even toxic, even if the emotion lacks a misbehavior. They're just not okay with their child displaying a negative emotion. And because of this, they tend to ignore or even deny these negative emotions with the intent of repressing them and never see them again. When in fact, displaying these negative emotions are a good way to show them, that they can deal with them even if they're negative. We are not born programmed where everything we begin to discover, we know how to properly deal with it. However, the environment and the people around us influence our emotional development and help us acquire the necessary tools to acknowledge our feelings and be able to talk about them. Children enter a confusing world to experience their feelings, but they lack the skills they need to regulate them. So social interactions, positive guidance from teachers, and emotion coaching parents are the key to having emotion regulation and prepare the children from what remains in their journey. This was a presentation created for FCS 210, Infancy and Early Childhood in the Family at New Mexico State University. Thank you.